Hey Slash, what time is it?
It's time for the I formation!
Hi and welcome to week 11 of the I Formation. My name is Jeff Gibbons.
And I'm John Moist.
And we had a bit of a rough week at the picks this week, John.
Yeah.
Our lowest total this week. We both split down the middle of two games that we had decided. Both were very, very close. As we
4 weeks in a row we've tied.
Yeah, and those games are close. So, I mean, we know that, we're pretty much in the same kind of thought process. 7-7, we were close to the couple of picks that we decided on. The Green Bay pick might have done us in, a lot of the sports writers going the other way on that, and at 7-7, we're still ahead of all these people. So I mean, we're doing a good job. This week, very, very excited about a couple of different things. Well, certainly one, the big anticipated AFC matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and them going into Denver to play the Broncos. This is two huge, huge football teams this year that we're looking forward to seeing play off.
Kansas City hasn't faced a team like Denver yet.
I'm pretty sure that, maybe with the exception outside of the Indianapolis Colts, Denver really hasn't faced a team like that either. But two AFC giants that, really, really setting the tone. I would like to thank Dwayne Bowe for changing some other things too today. I mean, we've been trying to stay incognito about some things in the league, but certainly Dwayne Bowe has taken the camera and thrust it on himself to change the focus of the press by getting called charges of speeding and possession of marijuana in his Audi. Unconfirmed reports of Manti Te'o's girlfriend being in with him as well. So we're waiting to see what the league has to say about all of these kinds of things. Also, Peyton Manning not practicing with the team as of today. Today we're going to film on Wednesday.
They're just icing his ankle. It's fine. It's fine.
But it brings up a few interesting questions. I think we would be more concerned if Manning was on the practice field today. I think that would be more newsworthy. Certainly, the MRI was negative on Monday, so that was a good sign. But now Broncos fans, still thinking about the Dolphins game this weekend, Broncos fans are going to be concerned about the extent of that sprain on the ankle. I mean, that's... it's still a point of contention with everybody ever since the injury.
And what makes it an even bigger point of contention is the Chiefs' pass rush. Best in the game, maybe one of, and they're going to be definitely going to be coming after Manning, and he'll be lucky to get through this one.
It's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a great game. We called the game of the week last week, which was pretty intense.
Carolina, San Francisco.
Who saw that as 10-9 though? But anyway, we'll talk to that in a little bit. But yeah, and then of course St. Louis.
St. Louis. Well, the Colts turned over the ball 5 times in this game, and I mean, if you turn over the ball 5 times, you're going to get beat, and they got beat really bad here. St. Louis, one of those teams who just shows up every now and again and blows somebody away. They were definitely a team for the future, and for this year, they're starting to look real good. And this young fella Austin, really, what do you have? 3 touchdowns in this game?
That swagger of the play he made on the return.
Waved off his.
He waved off his teammates, but did it all. I had to look at it several times, but looked like he was going to let the ball go into the end zone. He completely schooled the defensive team, the kicking team, and then grabs the ball and at that point, it's just incredible.
92 yards later.
Yeah, and speed, man. He was like a gazelle.
Oh.
It was incredible to watch him change gears. But anyway, that's part of the game. That's the pretty part of the game. We've been dealing with the seedy underbelly for so long now. It was good to see a good success story. So that was the league this week. We've got some big close picks this week. John and I are going to differ on 4 picks this week. So anything goes. So stick around. We'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back to the I Formation, and now we're going to make our picks for week number 11 of the NFL season, starting with the Thursday nighter between the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. Who do you like, Jeff?
Interdivisional matchup. Tennessee looking better of late. Right now, but it's the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're licking their wounds. They're going to go in there and they're going to play hard. I think it's a close game.
I do too.
I think it's probably within a field goal, but I'm looking at Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably a field goal, maybe 6 points in this one, but I think that the Colts are going to are ready for a bounce back game. And Tennessee just lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's all I got to say. You lose to Jacksonville, you're not that good.
Alrighty then. Next we got Washington to play Philadelphia in Philly.
You want to go with the Eagles here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Got to go with the Eagles. I think it's a team that way too many offensive threats there, and I think we've seen a team. It's very much a tide coming in and out. That is the Washington Redskins defense.
Yeah.
And if they show up, they can do the job. I think they
Certainly
keep this
can.
close.
They do.
And I think Griffin is, and on the ground with Morris, they can make things happen. But
Well, Philly's having a little bit of trouble here because they have their starting left tackle Peters out. So Washington can certainly stay with them in this game, and they're going to put pressure on the quarterback. Nick Foles, however, has gotten 16 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions so far this year. So Philadelphia has found their quarterback. A lot of people saying that Mike Vick might be coming back there. I mean, you got a quarterback that's putting up numbers like that. You don't bring Vick back into the mix.
Let's
I think
hope.
Foles is the quarterback of the future here.
I think it
And-
might be 15, but you're right. It's crazy.
15?
15 or 16. It's one of the two. And I can't remember because the ticker went over. They were talking about it real time. We were talking about it real time. But Foles, and those passes, you're right. They're crazy. They're like, we're dropping these in the beach basket over the shoulder, like with the poise of a veteran.
And you got to mention LaShawn McCoy too. This guy is right now the top running back in the game. Right now, so far this year.
Yeah, I just hope that Donovan McNabb doesn't put him on the chunky can. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, Philadelphia close though. I think 3.5. The spread right now is 3.5 points, something
Sounds
like
about
that.
right.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Cleveland and Cincinnati, the Battle of Ohio now. They're in Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Who do you like there?
I like the Bengals because the Bengals just have a better all-around team. They're better offensively. They're better defensively. Cleveland, the Battle of Ohio is always a good game, but I just think Cincy is a better football team.
Might be a little tighter if they were in the dog pound, but I think in Cincinnati they hold court, they win. You're right. Next we got the Baltimore Ravens going into Soldier Field to play the Chicago Bears. We're going to disagree on this.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are going to come up with a McCown, I think, is going to put one together here. I think this is a very close game. These are two very similar gritty teams defensively. I think that they're going. I think it'll be defense by committee for the Chicago Bears with the losses of Tillman and
Both teams, really.
Yeah, well, this is true. Both teams are hurting from the defensive side. But defense by committee, I think that's what got Chicago Bears where they are. They're fighting for a spot now at the top of that division. I think that they win this close. I'd say field goal.
I think this is the closest game of the week. You're picking the Bears because of their defense. I'm going to pick the Ravens because of their defense. The Ravens, I think, just have more big-time playmakers on defense. And there will be a couple of big plays here that will make the difference. I think Baltimore by field goal.
Look forward to see what happens. Next, we got the Jets, the surprising New York Jets, going into Buffalo to play the Bills. This is going to be another very close game.
It is.
I think, like I said, they're looking at this being under a field goal right now. I mean, that's what they're saying out there, the pundits, whoever they are. You like the Jets here? I like the Jets here.
I do like the Jets here. The Bills are not playing at the top of their game right now. They're a good home team. But we're talking, like you were talking about today, the Jets have beaten the Patriots this year and they've beaten the Saints. They can put that form, best run defense in the game maybe, and the Bills is pretty much what they have with C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson. A large part of the Bills' offense is the running game, and the Jets shut that down. They should be able to beat them here. I think it's divisional though and it's close.
Well, the Bills have, the Jets have won some great games. The Jets, or the Bills at home, have been in some really close games as well. All of those
Yeah.
very close. One of them being with the Patriots early in the season. So, I mean, these two teams are here to play, and they've got their quarterback back now.
E.J. Manuel.
That's right. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be another entertaining game. I'm not a big Jets fan, but gotta say, I think that the Jets are going to be. I think they squeak this one out just
I
like
think it's
you.
real. I think it's 23-20.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
Next, we've got the Oakland Raiders in Houston to play the Houston Texans.
Houston's going to bounce back in this one. I really think they are. I think Casey Keenum's going to have a big game, or as Graham calls him, Casey Kasem.
That's right.
But I think that Houston, I think they're going to beat Oakland badly. Really do.
I think Houston really needs to prove that they are a contender in that division. Just today, they've released Ed Reed, veteran Ed Reed, and that's a big.
Ed Reed didn't even have a pass defense this year. I mean, for a
Well,
safety,
we're talking about him being possibly not at 100% when he was brought over
he's
from the
got a
Raiders.
hip injury, and a hip injury, a safety. This guy is responsible for a lot of tackles.
Jim Irsay made a joke
Yeah,
in
it's too
Indianapolis
bad.
about
It's too
hiring
bad.
him as a wideout.
Yeah.
Did you see
The
that?
end of an era here, and I don't think he'll be back with anybody. I really don't. But he's definitely a legend. One of the best playmakers of all time on defense. I think.
Good defense reader, or good offense reader.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I know you did, and I could feel it. No, okay, so we're picking Houston to win there. Next, we got Detroit in Pittsburgh to play the Steelers.
And sadly, I think we agree on this one. I think this might be it for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Detroit is a better football team. Now, I'm not saying Pittsburgh can't win this game. If the stars align, as you say, Pittsburgh can certainly come up with an upset here. But I just think too many playmakers out there, especially Calvin Johnson, who I see having a real big game in this one.
Well, this is it.
Not a
And
stretch, mind you.
defensively, Pittsburgh would have to bring their A game to win this, and they would have to control Calvin Johnson. That is the top priority. A few nice defensive players on the Detroit side, like Ndamukong Suh.
Oh my God!
There's some
Detroit
people there that
has
can really
sixth ranked
sound.
rush defense, I think.
That's right.
And Pittsburgh rushes the ball a lot. Le'Veon Bell's going to be out there trying to get a few yards. I
I'm
think.
pretty sure you're going to find a few Roethlisberger fossils in the backfield too.
Yeah.
He's going to get hit a few times. While this is probably close, Detroit has just got too many wheels.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we've got the Arizona Cardinals in Jacksonville to play the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are on a one-game winning streak now.
One-game winning streak, fantastic, and I really don't see this one as close. I think Arizona has a much better football team, defensively and offensively, than Jacksonville Jaguars do. And I think that Arizona's going to show up and hold Jacksonville to a minimal amount of points, maybe not even double digits. Yeah.
Won't need to score a lot to beat Jacksonville this week. That's good call. Next, we've got the Atlanta Falcons in Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, who just broke my heart on Monday Night Football, and played one half of defensive football that totally schooled the Miami Dolphins, and it was very, very close in the end. But at the end of the day, they were beaten by safety. And I've said a couple of times this year that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than their record.
Tampa Bay has a few of them running backs out there now. Another young fella there with Rainey, who had a big game there last week.
Well, he had to. Mike James went down with a season-ending
That's right.
ankle injury.
That's
They've already lost Doug Martin.
It was running back by committee in Tampa, and they have a couple of really good young running backs.
152 yards on the ground against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
To the 2 yards that they
And their
allowed.
defense, as I said,
That's
is better than a one-win team. Their offense has struggled all year, but their defense is still pretty good. And I see Tampa beating Atlanta here.
It's close.
It's once again divisional close game, and I think Tampa comes out on top. Field goal maybe. What do you think?
I agree. It's within a field goal. Next, speaking of comebacks, enter the comeback. Now we're going to disagree on this one. San Diego is coming in to the Sunshine State to play the Miami Dolphins. This is very close on the line right now. It's 1.5 point spread in favor of San Diego. I'm going to say categorically right now, if Joe Philbin wishes to stay in Miami, he has to make some big changes this week. He has to reshore that offensive line. He has to get McKinney up to speed. They have to talk to the people that never showed up for half a game last week. And yes, I'm speaking to you, number 91, Mr. Cameron Wake, who had glimmers of brilliance in the second half, but we didn't even see you at the first half. This is a team that's far more competitive than their record is showing. But when the chips are down, They're playing against better teams. They're beating the Bengals one week, and the next week they're losing to the 0-8 Buccaneers. But to their credit, I mean, there was an awful lot of distraction in Miami. But you know what? Sports goes on, folks. It's just like everything else in life. Philbin needs to right this ship this week, and I think they send a message this week to the San Diego Chargers. They're at home. They've played well at home this year. I think that they win this game close.
Well, Joe Philbin played last week. Or he didn't play last week. He coached last week.
Yes.
And after the game, he said that he was disappointed with the lack of the running game. Well, Coach Philbin, when your team is called for 14 rushing plays and rushes for 2 yards, then the problem is not only with the players. The problem is with the coaching, and I really don't think that Joe Philbin is a good coach for this team anymore. With regards to, I didn't want to really get into the whole incognito thing, but what happened there in the locker room between those two players? If one of the players didn't come to the coach, neither one of the players came to the coach to tell them what was going on. So he didn't see what was going on, and I can forgive that. But the rest of the players in the locker room, if this was going on and if it was some serious business, the leaders of the team, some of them should have stood up and went to the coach and said, "This is going on." But none of them did that. So in that respect, I think that Joe Philbin does not have as much control as he should over this team. And I think Miami did not look good last week, especially their offensive line. And I'm going to go with San Diego to win. Once again, I'm going to think it's a close game. It is in Miami. But I think that San Diego is going to find a way with Phillip Rivers to get the job done.
Okay. Yep. I'll grant you that. Mm-hmm. Next, we've got the San Francisco 49ers in the Big Easy to play the New Orleans Saints. And
Saints
I know we've said this before, but you're right. San Francisco has been mediocre at best from an offensive perspective. I'm sorry, Colin Kaepernick, I'm sort of smiling inwardly because I remember saying at the end of last season, I don't think he's as effective. I kind of feel really good for Alex Smith right now, I got to tell you, because, you know, I'm seeing the same things being justified now in Colin Kaepernick that Alex Smith was criticized for in San Francisco. I'm thinking that, you know, if you ask any person now who's in the know, who's pro Kaepernick, they're saying, yeah, I realize he's not putting big numbers up on the board, but he's a solid quarterback. He doesn't make mistakes. You know, he's contributing in other ways. Well, gee, nobody was saying that when they threw Alex Smith under the bus last year. But anyway, 10-0, that's all I'm saying.
And has there been a more consistent quarterback over the years than Drew Brees? I'm not sure if the man is human. They should check it out because last week was another 49 points he put up. This man is a fantastic quarterback. He's at home. The Saints are undefeated there. San Francisco has a great defense, but not enough offense to keep up here. Got to go with the Saints.
He's still got Johnny Unitas' consecutive game touchdown record. Just saying too. Yeah, New Orleans. I don't believe this is a walk away, but I think that I probably
by a score, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Next, we've got the Green Bay Packers to play the New York Football Giants at home. The embattled New York Giants, who have turned the corner and are generally, historically, a better second half team. Mm-hmm. Enter Andre Brown, who performed well above expectation last week, and I was very, very proud of.
And Eli Manning didn't impress me last week at all. He hasn't impressed me this year.
But now we have a running game.
And a defense.
Yes.
Ground and pound.
Absolutely. Green Bay is down to their fourth string quarterback.
They signed Matt Flynn to back up Scott Toljan here.
Yes, they did. And Aaron Rodgers went on record saying, if I could play this week, I'd play. So that's not really giving me any kind of confidence in what's going on around them. I mean, certainly Lacey on the ground. You know what? You establish the running game, you still got to have a quarterback who's going to get the job done. And I don't think that Toljan is a guy that can't get it done. But let's face it, folks, he's a brand new quarterback. Took his first snaps in the NFL last week when he had to come in.
He did okay in that respect. He threw
did.
280 yards, so he threw a couple of picks.
Yeah, and he managed to get a touchdown pass in there too. So, growing. But this is not the place to grow a new quarterback right now. I mean, they're embroiled in a very, very tight race for the head of that division, and they're going to try to pull out all the stops. So, I see this. I see the Giants at home. I give them a touchdown.
Give him a touchdown?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Next, we've got the Minnesota Vikings in Seattle.
The return of Percy Harvin. First week back this year, he comes back against his former team. Look for a big game from Percy Harvin in this one. Look a big game from the Seattle Seahawks, who right now, I don't think Jeff's going to argue me on this one, are the best team in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And right now, looking like the best defensively, for sure. Offensively, especially now with the return of Harvin, really picking things up. Marshawn Lynch as well. Golden Tate at receiver. Their offense is getting a big boost this week.
Well,
I don't think Minnesota keeps this close at all. I really don't.
I was just going to say that's a good call because I think this week, what we've seen in the last couple of weeks, we've seen big comebacks from the Seattle Seahawks in games that they never really should have gotten out of control. I don't see this happening in this game.
Yeah.
Now that you've got that two-side wideout scenario going with Tate and you've got Percy Harvin, I think this is a whole new dimension to this offense and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's going to have a huge game this week. I see the Seahawks. The spread on this right now is 13.5 points, the largest in the league.
Yeah, well, it's going to be more than that.
Yeah, I think they cover the spread here, absolutely. The next game is the crown jewel game that we've been anticipating for weeks. This is the two teams battling. Kansas City.
I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, Kansas City going into Denver. The first of two games, right? I think they meet again in 2 weeks' time, week 13. Is that what it is?
Sounds right.
Yeah. Right now, a few distractions. I mean, we've got Peyton Manning's ankle being in question this week. I mean, smoke and mirrors. Dwayne Bowe, right? The whole flying high again thing. But I mean, I am really, really excited to see the Kansas City pass defense playing against maybe a slightly immobilized Peyton Manning. I think that they're going to approach this like sharks around a bucket of chum, baby. I think this is a lot closer than you think it's going to be. You're telling me 2 touchdowns? Right now the line on this is 8.5 points for Denver, and I think that's conservative. I think that Kansas City can go into Denver the way they're playing right now, and they can beat the Denver Broncos.
Not going to happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. This week, I found Jesus, and I'm going to give him to you because you're going to need him.
The Buddy Christ.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had to think about how that sort of like patting your head.
Kansas City has not played against a team the caliber of the Denver Broncos this season. And I think that although I have talked about Kansas City being a great team, they certainly are a great defense. Offensively, they can't keep up with Denver. I really don't think they can. And Peyton Manning doesn't get sacked very much, but he better watch it in this one because the Chiefs are going to be coming for him. I hope Manning gets through this game without without being injured for the rest of the season. But I really think that this game is close at halftime, and I think Manning and the Broncos pull away in the second half and win it by 2 touchdowns.
Well, I think that this whole team is contingent upon its past laurels. I mean, this is a great team, no doubt. I mean, future Hall of Famer Peyton Manning, with the weapons he has at his disposal, including Wes Welker, who's gone over there this year.
Wes Welker, Darius Thomas, Eric Decker, you got Marino on the ground. The offense is
That's great.
best in the game.
But you know what? You made the point about saying that they haven't played a team of that caliber yet. Well, I don't think that really Denver has played a team of that caliber either. They've been beaten once already this year by an upstart Indianapolis team.
Not at home.
No, that's fine. That's fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, you know what? There's more pressure on them to perform at home now than there is for Kansas City to go in and be expected to beat them. And I think that defensively, solid team. We're looking at a Kansas City team in over 10 weeks who has only given up 111 points.
That's amazing.
That's an incredible stat. And that coupled with a team where Manning was playing a little gimped up last week, played against San Diego last week and only won by 8 points and only scored 28, the offensive juggernaut. And I mean, the Sandy defense, to me, that's a red flag as well. And that is not the defense they're meeting this week.
No.
If they're able to get the job done on the ground, Bo is able to perform, they're able to move the ball with Jamal Charles, they can control this clock, and they can score. If they can score 21 points, they're in this
Well,
game.
there's another reason that I'm going to go with the Broncos big here is because the Broncos have the fourth-ranked rush defense in the game. Jamal Charles is going to find it hard getting through their line, and that's going to give Manning the ball more often. And I just think that in the first half of the game, they're going to be feeling each other out. It's going to be close at halftime, maybe even tied. And but I think the second half, Peyton Manning is going to make the adjustments. Is going to let Denver pull away.
Let's hope that they're right there on that. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be decided on turnovers, and you are the proponent of turnovers.
Kansas City's turnover differential is much better than Denver's. Is where Jeff is going with that.
We'll see how it all plays out. This is going to be a great game as well this week. Earmark this one for your calendars. Like I said, it's been flexed into the Sunday night prime time. Yeah, and we're not talking Deion Sanders.
No.
All right, or Michael Irvin. But anyway, finally, our Monday night game of the week. The enigma wrapped in a mystery, New England Patriots, playing a much better team than a lot of people figured, except for John, of course, I will give him that, Carolina Panthers.
My surprise team of the year at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Should have won.
I can't reach your back to pat it, but you can pat your own.
Okay.
I could hit you with the bat, though.
There you go.
Anyway, Carolina at home. We've sort of flip-flopped on this a little bit this week.
Yeah, New England is coming off a bye week, and Belichick has his cameras out, extra cameras out during his bye weeks, and he's 9-1 after bye weeks. So I mean, you got a lot of camera work here in between.
But at the end of the day, John, we've both said about this team, this is the best of the worst in the AFC East. Carolina is playing a different kind of football, and defensively, they have been solid. Cam Newton has the potential to put 30 points on the board any given week.
Yep.
He's a guy that can go bang for bang with Peyton Manning.
And I think we might have, sorry for interrupting you there,
That's
but
okay.
I think we have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the game here in Carolina. I have statistics here. Fourth-ranked pass defense, second-ranked rush defense in the game.
That puts you up on the top of the list for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the line's close on this. They're saying less than a field goal, but I don't know. Like Carolina could put themselves in a position with turnovers with Brady because Brady makes poor mistakes or poor judgments when he gets rushed.
Yeah.
So if they're going to rush that passer, turnovers will be a key here. They can win this game as money as, I'm going to say, 10 points if they get out in front. Yeah. Okay. So that's the games for the week, folks. And I can guarantee you we're going to be here next week to talk about how we did. Stick around. We're going to tell you our players and our teams of the week.
Okay, welcome back, and we're back with our team of the week and player of the week. Who do you like, Jeff?
This week, my team of the week is going to be the Carolina Panthers because I think they're really going to accomplish something neat at home against the ever-beleaguered New England Patriots, the best of the East, as we call, or the best of the worst in the East, as we call them. Who are you picking this week for team?
My Denver Broncos. I'm picking my Denver Broncos to send the Kansas City Chiefs to their first loss. I'm very confident in that pick.
Yes, you keep saying. If I could show you the text messages, although we're not supposed to show each other's phones, you'd see. Did I mention 14 plus? I just got that text. I asked him if his cell tower was repeating or it was him. I wasn't sure.
Sent it a few times.
Yeah,
to
just a
remind
few.
them.
Yeah, well, glad you did with all for naught. Who you like this week as player of the week?
Peyton Manning.
Because we're not wearing blinders this week. Gee, John, why do you pick Peyton Manning this week?
Because the Broncos are going to send the Chiefs to their first loss, and so I'm picking the quarterback of my team, and I think Manning is going to solve them in the second half. Like I said, I see him getting 4 touchdown passes, which is about average for him anyway.
And I think Manning is dipped in the river Styx today, my friend, and it's only his ankle that never got exposed. So we're going to see how that plays out this week. As I've said so many times, my player of the week this week, Seattle's quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Nice.
He's in for the Percy Harvin love-in this week. His first game
Yeah.
back against his former team, the Minnesota Vikings. He is going to put on a clinic this week against the Vikings.
Yeah, Paul Loader's going to be happy after this one.
Oh, well, Paul Loader's happy anyway. Paul, you're an awesome guy. Can't wait to get together and watch a bit of football with you and some fellowship. At some point, that's got to happen. Like to have a shout out to everybody else out there that's watching our show and who's following us on Twitter. Austin, Jordan, and the NFL VR online today, following us now on Twitter, and some really great comments this week about the whole incognito thing that we thought were pretty neat. You know, I want to say hello to all our new viewers and thank you for supporting us. We look forward to continue giving you this good product right on through the rest of the season and continue on again next year. So that's how we saw it this week. Anything else you want to add before we close up?
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. So until next week, it's good night from me.
It's a good night from him. Have fun.